Hello and welcome to the 3RPG Podcast, a podcast where we talk about RPG games and other stuff. My name's Jay Underwood.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm Sandra Rosner.
Ever notice like that your fingernails seem to grow faster at certain times of the year? It's really weird. Like, no? Okay. But do your
times of the
fingernails
month
grow
for women.
Consistently? Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have a bad habit. I chew my nails.
You chew your nails.
You need that
Yeah.
disgusting nail polish.
That's fascinating because of the three of us, you're the one that's very particular about like what's eaten at the table.
Oh, yeah, that too. That too.
But you can eat your fingers.
But your fingers are okay. Yeah.
Is it like it's called an oral fixation? Is that what it is?
Oral fixation.
I always
right,
need
yeah.
something to chew on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My wife knows that.
What?
Yeah,
Okay, where is that going?
Just gonna walk over, just give her a nibble. She's like, "What are you biting me?"
Oh no, that's cute aggression though. That's
Nibble,
totally
yeah.
normal.
Amagami, just a little. I don't bite hard.
Wait,
often.
there's a Japanese word for it? What was it?
Yeah, amagami. It's like soft
Amagami.
nibbling.
Amagami. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it sounds so
it's
cute
like-
too.
Yeah, it's like sweet. Yeah.
Until the guy at the subway does it to you, right? That's
Oh, dude, like at Hanami last year, it wasn't this year, sadly. I should just say it's this year. I found the most fascinating thing the day after, like a big piss up on a Saturday night. I was walking up the stairs at Coconut Castle, and I saw a full set of dentures just on the steps. Like the whole like, top and bottom, like that, like classic kind of like whatever Joker would leave them around for, like, you know, like the whole thing, the whole set. Like, how is that possible? I was like, whoa!
The hell?
Like that dude must have been, or lady must have been wasted, and had the think about the walk of shame the next morning when they like woke up and they realized they misplaced their teeth.
They're
and
like,
they had to go like wandering around like the cherry blossom viewing spot to find their denture.
oh.
You know, when I'm in my golden years, I really hope I have that energy.
And, you know,
To
like,
lose your dentures?
Yeah, why
to
not?
lose your dentures. Yeah, I want to lose dentures energy. LDE, baby.
Yeah, all the way.
No, but like, you know, I always know when I have to cut my fingernails when I wake up and I'm just like, I feel like I slept with a cat. You know what I mean? I woke up and like my arms and legs are just like all scratched up. I get dry skin and I'm chalky. And I wake up and I'm like, oh boy, I guess my nails got too long, and I got scratches all over my arms.
Fighting your paralysis demon.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not what we were going to talk about. I think Chris, you had an adventure.
Chris's
I had a bit of an
time.
adventure today. Yeah. So I'm living with, my girlfriend and a pair of dentures.
I can't talk. I sit on a lazy boy next to you. What are we watching today, Chris? Oh, hello, Denty.
Denty.
Denty the dentures.
Oh god.
Put on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, we're having one of those days again.
But we also have 2 dogs. And today, one of the dogs managed to get out.
Uh-oh.
Wait. Chris? Who let the dog out?
Oh, come on.
I mean, it is relevant to the story.
Who?
Earlier today, I was thinking about that, and I thought, no, we should not do that. But you just did it for us.
I went there. Oh, you know me. I'll go to the lowest common denominator every time.
To the floor.
Yeah.
But yes, one of the dogs got out, and then we found him. We brought him back in, and then he got out again.
He came back with human teeth in his mouth.
Oh.
No,
wow.
No, wait. Okay, jeez. So,
But yeah.
Okay, first off, type of dog and name. I need the whole picture.
Am I to name names?
and social security number.
Oh my god. I mean, it could be a fake name that sounds like the real name.
All
Is in
right.
fact the
No,
real
I'll
name.
just give it a name. The dog's name is Jace. And in terms of dog, he is a brown dog. I don't know anything about dogs.
It lives with you, but you don't know anything about it. What?
Hey, I could draw the dog for you, but if you
You're
ask
gonna
me about
have
the
to.
breeds, it's just like cars. I have no idea what the car.
Chris, next time you see him, ask him. All right.
Oh my god.
What kind of dog are you? Well, that clears it up.
Okay, all right, we're okay. There's a whole story, and we're just I'm
my
sorry, we are
God.
stuck on this.
Yeah,
Jace the brown dog.
Chase the brown dog got out, and then he got out again. So we thought we'd close the door, but he managed to somehow get out again. So that kind of worries us. Like maybe there's a dog-shaped hole in our house somewhere that we don't know of.
It's like the Looney Tunes style.
Yeah,
like it's covered
exactly,
with the
yeah.
ears and everything like that.
For whatever dog he is. And yeah, he managed to get out again. So we were looking for him because he was wandering the streets. And we live by a
Mean
pretty busy
streets.
road.
The mean
Right?
street with like a stick and bindle. He's like, I'm out of here. They don't even know what type of dog I am.
Well, I was at work and I was coming home at the time. So I just I started looking like on my phone, right? I'm getting home and just checking my messages, and well, it turns out that the dog got out twice, and they don't know where he was. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna head towards the park, right? Because we have a fairly big park close to our house, and I ran into one of my girlfriend's sisters, who's also out looking for the dog, and we were walking towards the park, and like strategizing, right? We were like, oh, I'm gonna go this way, you're gonna go that way. We're gonna, split up. You split the party when it comes to looking for a dog, right?
Oh no, this always ends in a party wife. No.
Yeah. TPK.
Ah.
LDE.
But as we were about to split up, some random passerby is like, is this your dog? And points over, and the dog that we were looking for is right behind a bush by the main road, right? And we turn around and we're like, how didn't we see the dog behind this bush?
Because he's behind the bush. He's camouflage.
Your dog is like a pedo. It's like going to the park and hiding behind bushes and shit.
He's a pedo dog.
No, he's the most adorable dog ever. He's so cute.
Oh yeah. That's what all the kids say.
But then, as we look at him, he looks directly at us, and he just has that look and like, oh hey guys. Like as if it's just a normal day. He's out behind bushes by the park,
meeting a coworker in a park or whatever. Yeah, hey, what's up?
And we just were astonished that he was just staring at us. He didn't bark, he didn't say hello, he didn't come to us. He was just like eating something behind the bush. I don't know what it was.
His victim, obviously.
Like, yeah, he's a victim. Yeah, an old burrito. So then, Mr. Ding, the helpful passerby, he pointed the dog out to you.
Yeah, and we managed to to leash him and bring him home. See, that's it.
Oh.
Wasn't anything too exciting.
Let Jace go. Hashtag freedom for Jace.
No.
It's like Free Willy, but free Jace.
Yeah, this dog.
All right, so Chris,
this dog needs to go to the park.
I may know, depending on the breed of dog, which you don't know, but you could possibly know the breed of the dog through this. That if you have a breed, if it's a breed that links back to a dingo, so a lot of the cattle dog breeds like link back to a dingo, they have wrists. Those dogs actually have an extra wrist, and they can actually turn doorknobs.
Oh, I don't think this dog can. I think there's a dog-shaped hole somewhere.
See, I know because my dog can do this. We just never taught her. But she has the extra flexibility to do this turn the doorknob thing, apparently.
Do the turn the doorknob thing.
Whoa.
Yup.
Yeah, I don't think Jace can do that.
Oh. Well, okay, well, I guess we're back to Jace just can get through walls like
you can just phase through them.
Phase through them, yeah.
I know from experience Jace can't open doors.
Wait a minute. Where were you at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, exactly. I was locked in my own room. When you're talking about wrists, It's a weird word.
It is
Like,
a bit
I
weird,
guess
especially
anything that has
with
hands
dogs.
has a wrist, right? It's just like some hands are flappable. Right? Like a wrist is just the end of the arm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like the
apparently they're
joint.
like extra mobility to them. I don't know. Like when you see like a dingo derivative dog to a normal dog, you'll see it. You'll see the extra little like joint to it.
Dingo derivative dog, saved by Mr. Ding. On the farm.
Ding's derivative dogs.
Dingo.
Ding's derivative dog. You know that I know that guy who helped you find the dog. By the way, his first name is Bill. You know.
Oh, no.
And that actually gets us into our category today because we're talking about building characters.
Oh,
boo. I know it.
Boo.
It's the worst one.
I thought you were gonna
Today's
be like,
topic: bad dad jokes for your
Yeah,
campaign.
I thought you were really gonna be like, yeah, one of the Baja men's name is Bill or something like that. And I was like,
All right. So we're talking about like the character creation process.
Mhm.
And so I think to just jump right into it, I think I have as having not been a player much in my many years of playing this game, I'm kind of hate the character creation process. I know
really?
players seem to love it. Yes.
I hate
want
it
to
too.
play. I want to play, and when
What?
everyone sort of gets
Wait.
around to sit down and start like building their characters, and I'm kind of like, ugh. I'm sort of checked out a little bit. Because I want to get to the build as you go model, which well I'll get to later. But kind of like the time together playing is really valuable time, and it's kind of sometimes it's hard to get groups together, right? Unless you have a regular group.
Agreed.
And then who wants to spend that time just I mean, yeah, you could do the session 0 stuff. That is kind of fun, fleshing it out. But just like actually like kind of rolling them up and building the characters and like what are you going to be good at? It's like it just feels like it's gaming the whole thing, and I just get kind of turned off the whole process. You know what I mean?
I'm the outlier then. I love doing that.
Well, because you do it all the time with your NPCs, right? All your NPCs have like they're fully
I
statted
stat out
aren't
most
they?
of my NPCs, yes.
Yeah.
Well, all the ones that I imagine they're gonna fight. I do have like generalized ones for just like here are normal civilians, here are soldiers, here are, beasts of
The mooks.
unnamed. Yeah.
Red shirts. Well, okay. Well, don't get me wrong. I like the process of sitting around with friends and just like chatting about like the possibilities of what kind of character and who they're going to be in the story and the personality and all that kind of stuff. It's just the process of like, okay, like what stat am I going to pick and what how am I going to allocate these things? It's like I just want to like because I feel like it's going to because ultimately the character who you think you're going to play is going to be different after you kind of get in the driver's seat of them session to session. So all this, fiddling with numbers, do I want a 7 or an 8 and the stat is just mind-numbing to me. But this really falls into my theater nerd style play. Like I figured if you have a basic character concept in mind, just start. You can start, and then the characters will start to formulate as they kind of bounce off of each other and all that kind of stuff.
Chris is like chewing on this right now. You can
tell. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what you mean. no, I understand. You get a concept, but for me, every second I'm like building the character in terms of stats and things like that, I'm constantly thinking about, okay, here's what I want this to look like in my mind. Because I think about like colors. When I create characters, I think of color schemes. Right? Right? Those are things that I almost immediately think about. Like, well, what colors represent this character? And I also love to throw themes on characters too. Like one of my favorite characters, her thing was all about like, the color black, blue, the number 21, and calligraphy and water, right? Those were kind of like her...
This is like character synesthesia. This is really fascinating.
Yeah.
Right? And I do that for everything. Like every character that I play as, or even as I make for NPCs, I'm often thinking about these things. So for me, giving me the opportunity to build a character, like assigning stats and then thinking about what weapon they're gonna have. It's all world building for me. So
But I think you're packing in two things, because I like part of what you're saying, but I don't like the other part of what you're saying. I really like the idea of world building and character creation to a degree, but I don't like the kind of statting them out. I will oftentimes start similar to you, not with a color per se, but like just a sort of defining characteristic that I could put a characteristic that I could put a pin in. For example, oh, he has a bronze hand, or this one has big earlobes, and just start from there, and then that just kind of starts the ball rolling, as it were, and that's fine. But I don't need to know, I don't need to do the thing like if I'm writing a novel to understand a character inside and out. I just want to know like a few things, maybe a few personality quirks of this character, and then I can get the ball rolling, and then let's start playing, because now it starts to develop as it bounces off people. It's quite interesting how it's maybe how we kind of go at preparing for this podcast in a way, right? Because Chris, you like to do a lot of like heavy prep, and
I do a lot of
notes
a lot of prepping. I do a lot of notes. I have to make an ad every week until we get real ads.
Yeah, I usually get a few keywords and just go from there. It's the same way I do my week-to-week sessions. I'll have a few kind of notes that I want to hit, and then just like find my way through the forest that way. Sandra, why don't you jump in here? We're sort of stealing the floor here with two ideas. I think you're more on my character.
As someone who plays more characters than we do.
Well, I definitely feel like my view on how to create characters for campaigns has drifted as in tandem with how to create them for stories. I was definitely very prep heavy in the beginning. I thought you'd have to do what's called a character interview, where you get as many of these details as possible. Like, you don't fudge them. You don't, like, if you really don't know the hair color of the person yet, don't worry, leave it blank, right? And I thought that you'd have to go through and character interview to get all those details to have something to move forward with on like session one.
Your writerly instinct there.
Right. But I have since absolutely trashed that. Like years ago, stopped doing the character interview thing, because I found out that so little of it actually makes it into the final product. So I'm with Jay on what he's saying, where you start with an impression and you run with it. But also, like, if you need some kind of like if you're not, I'm not gonna say if you're not good at improv, because I've seen plenty of people be good at improv but still need the foundation to be there. Otherwise, they go off the rails. So I think what we're actually dealing with here is how comfortable is your GM or your player at literally coming up with stuff on the fly. And sometimes I think that's little bits of anxiety. It's little bits of how you're creative, how best you're creative. Some people are best creative in a group. Some are best like in a quiet room without any distractions. So if I had to take a guess, I would think that, Chris, you're the type who really likes to just have some deep moments of thinking about your characters to really get everything all together and then launch them into the world, where Jay is more like free-flowing. Like these ideas just come to him as he's going. I mean, surprise, Jay's done, stand-up comedy. So yeah. He's got that tool set. And I don't see that either is better than the other.
Because I'm hilarious.
But if
Mr.
you're
Bahaman.
he is quite funny.
I agree.
But if you're newer to tabletop, I think having some degree of prep is really going to increase your enjoyment. But don't lock yourself in with, like I said, the full character interview, because nothing survives the first couple sessions. Nothing does, except for that little passion core that you had for that character. Like, what was there? Like, what do you even care about this character for as the person who created it? If you have that and then run with it, that character survives.
Well, let me jump in here a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you, and I think one of the kind of governing factors here is, let's say you do the kind of full prep and you have a character where I'm going to be the rogue, and I'm going to be like the best friend with the barbarian, but I'm also going to be sort of maybe adversary to the wizard character for reasons X, Y, Z. And then you start getting to the table, and then all that just falls apart because you've got players maybe at the table who you don't quite know how they're envisioning the character beyond the page. And then once they start kind of interacting with the world and finding the little quirks that they want to do and little encounters that just slowly nudge a character into a different world, then all of that prep kind of goes right out the window. And if you're not willing to kind of flow with it, you could end up playing a character that you didn't intend to begin with. And even though the character that you're now playing is ultimately better for the fact that they're now lived in and they're a real person having interacted with the world, right? I can't count how many times I've had a character who says, well, this is not really the character that I wanted to play. Well, yeah, of course, that's what's going to happen all the time. Like you have your character on the page, but then they're going to interact with things, and that's going to change them, right? So yeah, Chris?
Well, I think for myself, I enjoy thinking about these things, though. Like, the color of hair, what kind of armor they're wearing, and those are the things that excite me actually the most, right? I'm a very visual person, as I've said in the past, and often these things, these I guess tropes or these trying to figure out how I want to say this, but just often characteristics. Often I have these things almost in my head while I'm building it, and then I just want to almost put it onto paper immediately, like in terms of drawing it as well.
Right. Well, you got that. I think that's where it connects you to your visual style in a way, right? Being a visual artist.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I want to make a character that I can draw that character in a way. And so, your hobby as an artist and your hobby as a game master.
And I think maybe that's something that's very specific to myself, right?
Yeah.
100%. Like writers are the same way. Like you can tell where the and I always say the passion, right? Because there's that thing that is going to constantly bring you back to, the keyboard, the drawing pad, the table, to the thing that you're spending your time on. So what is the thing that's pulling you forward each time to spend those hours of your life doing it? And I can absolutely see how somebody who's, a graphic artist would design characters from the physical appearance onward. Like for me, it's the emotional connections. Like what challenge is going to be presented to this character and how are they going to overcome it? Like that's where characters are born for me. But it's so different from writer to writer, from artist to artist, from player to player. Absolutely.
Let me add an additional metaphor here, and I don't think this is exactly how I conceptualize things when I'm creating, but maybe if there's something on an unconscious level that's similar to this, where I don't want to have the same meal for dinner every night. And so whenever I go to character creation, I'm sort of thinking about like what hasn't come up in a while. What haven't I played with for a while? Oh, I haven't come up with an interesting characteristic or a character that has something going on with their feet or whatever. So where can I come up with something interesting with their feet? Like for example.
Yeah, ditto. That's the same. Right? I'm the exact same thing. I don't want to draw the same thing twice. Oh,
yeah, I haven't colored. I haven't used green in a while. Let me use green now.
I'm not a huge fan of the color green for characters.
We just learned something else deep and dark.
That's one thing that I'm trying to work on, actually.
You're saying that all your elves don't wear like green tabards and stuff like that? Like,
elves? I don't have elves, unfortunately.
Because he hates green. You can't have elves without green, huh?
Green, exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, I think go ahead.
I too don't like to make the same character over and over and over again. That's why I'll very much differentiate them with different ages, different motivations, any number of traits that can change. And again, you can add atmosphere into a drawing in my mind, right? Different characters,
farting on it.
Wow, what?
No, not your own art, but that adds a lot of atmosphere to the. It's like, whoa.
Oh, jeez.
Literally. Okay, sorry about that.
Getting back on topic.
No. But okay. Go.
I understand the joke. Yeah, atmosphere.
Thank you. Yes, there you go.
But see, Chris, in an interesting way, I think we actually have a nucleus where we meet, because at the core of a character is like almost a problem to be solved, right? Like we're not interested in the character that everything is going perfectly for them and they're getting everything they wanted and they're happily ever after, right? We want the messy character, the one with a problem, and how are they going to do it and how are they going to grow. And by starting with the physical characteristics, you already have the starts of a story. Like their age, their physical appearance. Do they have like limitations? Do they are they ultra beautiful, or are they struggling to have charisma? You know, and so having the physical characteristics does start you off with something of what this character is going to face. Absolutely, I see that. Yeah, that's. And it's funny because the physical appearance is the last thing I think about when I'm creating one. So
the thing is, though, you can always add on more to that as well, right? Like, you know, it says nothing about their problems, just even based off the physical alone. It could, right? But, you know, there could be even deeper layers to that as well that you can always add on later.
It certainly can do if you're playing in a world where, you know, I want my character to have pink hair, but, you know, pink hair is like a, you know, a sign of early onset plague or something like that. You know? Early onset social justice or something.
What is
okay, where are we going with this?
Red hair say about me?
Yeah, my character was a red hat. Anyway.
What, Linux?
Nerd. I think there is room for caution here, though, in just building a character as you go, rather than having everything kind of predefined. In that, let's say you have a player that all of a sudden says, "Oh, well, I want to have the character who, you know, oh, I've learned time travel or something like that." It's like, oh no, you can't do that now. You have to keep kind of like reining in the, you know, the rules, as it were. And I think this is where games like Fate Core does it to some extent, and like Monster of the Week does it, where like the text on the character sheet itself kind of indicates like the possible things that you could kind of do, or the person that you could be based on this archetype. So if you're being the kind of like the brawly fighter type of character, well, there's sort of like a suite of different actions and ideas that your character could be, like the brash one or the cool under pressure one, or blah 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 blah. And then as you're sort of making your character, you just sort of just tick off the boxes that you want to be, and then that kind of like just helps to kind of put you down this little pinball track to, okay, now you're that guy. And then all the little details and how you play them come out afterwards. I kind of quite like that. And it keeps it consistent with like whatever type of world you're playing in, and doesn't allow characters to just come up with something that's just like a huge jump from the genre element that you've chosen, right?
Regardless of how much you plan your character, it's really supposed to be the story impacts the character, right? The story is the thing that's supposed to change the character, right?
Yeah, and this is where we are in agreement. I suppose my initial gambit was getting to the fact that what I don't like is when you've gathered everyone together, you're ready to play, and then what happens for the next 3 hours is everyone starts scouring through like the players' handbooks and what have you, looking for like the most appropriate spells to pick, and they sort of like lose sight of the character that they want to play for the mechanics to make their characters like strong, or maybe not necessarily strong or the strongest, but rather like ensuring that they don't have a character that's so gimped because they didn't choose the right things, right? Oh, well, if you're a wizard that doesn't choose the fireball spell, well, then you're kind of useless now, or something like that. Well, come on, we're now playing a totally different thing here. We were, you know, going into the kind of mechanics to a fault. But I some people love that kind of stuff. Good on them. But that's not for me.
I know people who play very mechanics based, right? And I don't like. I kind of want to drag them into a more RP based game and see what happens. If it like, I guess I don't have enough experience to know if players very very specifically want the mechanics versus the RP, or they just don't know how fun the RP side can be. But if you're in a game where that matters, it matters. Like, I get it that you need to kid out the character, or you're going to be gimped for the team, and you're probably going to die early. Like, I know those kind of sessions exist. So I don't want anybody to feel necessarily bad that we're semi-trashing on that. I think we all feel pretty strongly that like telling a good story trumps the mechanics. And I know some systems are pretty mechanics heavy. So there's a little bit of a balance here to be had, depending on the type of group that you're in. So I just wanted to have that caveat.
As it connects to the character creation process, I think. I play my Hex Encounter Avalon Hill war games, and that's all about crunch. It's all about the details and working out the math and stuff like that. And that's super fun, but it's not a lot of characterization. It's like the Battle of Stalingrad or something like that.
Right. Now, like, if I'm creating a character, I start with the flaw. Like, to me, that's the meat of the character that I'm going to enjoy playing. So, but if I was in a mechanics based game, you can't start with the flaw. You have to take your point pool and do the best you can with it first, and then the flaws will just be whatever's left over.
Start with flaw, start with the color, start with a golden foot fetish, whatever.
As a WoW player, I am laughing. I'm laughing because the whole Xal'atath thing is still alive and well about the foot fetish stuff. So if you're wondering why I'm grinning and giggling every time you say that.
Well, on that note, let's take one golden step forward and take a small little break.
That's pretty good.
And we'll be back to talk about character creation further in the second half. Meow meow. This episode of the 3RPG podcast is brought to you by...
I've seen you before. You've just set out your first big adventure. You've got your sword, shield, armor, torches, a potion or two, and 50 feet of rope. No surprises. I understand that these are the essentials, but by golly, are you a copper a dozen? Well, we're here to add some spice to that big old tasteless bowl of gruel. We are Trinket Hut, your go-to emporium for all things cheap and intriguing. What better way to show that you are more than some routine ranger, commonplace cleric, or stereotypical sorcerer than to adorn yourself with a gemstone with a demon inside? Well, now that's developmental gold. With 17 locations across the realm, barrels and crates filled to the brim with low-cost random goods to give color to that blank canvas that is your personality. Be known as the Paladin with a feather in the shape of a candle with a decorative ribbon tied to it, or a barbarian with a bag of dried catfish whiskers. Oh, they're laughing. Wow! When someone finds your dead body, they won't forget what they find. When they find that chunk of metal that endlessly sings a song called Cool. Cool, go crazy. I'm waiting for them to finish.
Why do you keep going? Okay, you're gonna have to go. Oh god. Sorry. Okay, we're chill. We're calm.
No. Okay.
Keep going.
Right. Our trinkets may not be useful for slaying skeletons, tinkering with traps, or stirring up sorcery, but hey, it's better than being bland. We offer trinket training classes as well. Learn how to sit pensively on a mountain, clutching your trinket in a way that is guaranteed to spark the interest of your fellow companions. Don't have a backstory for it? Well, our creative consultants have a combined 200 years of experience. Well, that's a lot of narratives. And our anonymity is guaranteed. You were never here. Here are some testimonials from a few of our satisfied trinkites.
Yep. My name is Deborah. That's not my real name because anonymity and all that. I went to Trinket Hut to buy a stick and bindle because my dog ran away and I wanted to at least give him a few things to remember me.
No way. No way. No.
That's it. That's it for me. That's enough for me.
I didn't even know she was in here.
No way.
Oh, whatever. Oh my god.
Come on,
dude.
Debbie.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Get back here, Deborah.
No. That's brilliant. Oh, dude. Amazing. All right.
Okay, here, I have one as well. My father was on his deathbed, and he handed me his prize, owl weather vane. He told me it's time to follow the wind. Okay.
Fucking Batman.
No, keep going. Yeah, my parents were killed at by the cinema.
He told me it's time to follow the wisdom of my own wind. Now, I'm known as the Hooting Destroyer. Hoo. Thank you, Trinket Hut.
It's the Owlman.
The Hooting Destroyer.
Oh, the Hooting Destroyer. Thanks, Owlman. The Hooting Destroyer. Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh my god.
Hey, guys. I'm Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish.
I'm popular thanks to these trinkets.
Holy shit, dude. Okay.
So we are open from sunrise to the hour of the ferret, from Solus Day to Lithos Day. Trinket Hut, make our world part of yours.
Trinket Hut. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're back for part 2 about character creation. I wanted to talk about like the art of build as you go, and if you have some time, talk about pre-gen versus handcrafted versus kind of roll straight down the line kind of thing. So what do I mean by the build as you go? Well, I think that if you're going to play with a point buy system, everyone has X number of points to slot into X number of skills and what have you. Well, why bother assigning it all from the get-go and just give everyone the amount of points that they have, and the goal by the end of, say, like the first 2 or 3 sessions even, is to sort of spend those points. And obviously you're going to have to do things as you make your way through the adventure. Jump over that cliff, climb that mountain, whatever. The character that wants to be good at that thing at that moment can then spend as many or as little points as they want to before the roll.
Yeah.
Then you slot them in, and then therefore as you go, the character starts to develop as the person that's good at these things. And more so, let's say they spend a lot and then they fail the check. That also adds something to a character, right? That maybe they've trained all this thing, but now they've got a sort of maybe a phobia to or they were the mountain climber guy, but then they failed this role. Why did they fail this role? Well, there's something of a story to develop there, and that all happened organically without having to sort of like on the fly come with, I'm going to be the mountain climbing guy that's got a phobia for mountain climbing, blah, 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 right? Whatever. So I think the build as you go model really just gets you to the races. I think you could easily just start off with some archetype things. I'm going to be the magic guy. I'm going to be the fighter guy. I'm going to be the aggro guy. I'm going to be the talky guy. And then you just start from there, and you're off to the races. But again, I'm almost opposed to that because I don't like the whole archetype thing. I think characters are more nuanced than that. But that's a starting point. What do y'all think?
We kind of do that as well. Like I'll often have like the players when they're allocating their skills, I'll tell them to leave X amount of skills so that they can do it later, right? So it's kind of the same kind of thing, right?
On the charisma build, no, leave.
I'm a horny board. Come on.
Wait for it. Several points behind.
So it's kind of a middle ground to that, where I'd say that you don't allocate all of your skills right at the start. There's some flexibility as well. If, say, later in the adventure they want to be that character that can climb or swim or pick locks, right? Then they have that opportunity there.
Yeah, I'm less inclined for players, or less open to the idea of having players, once they allocate resources, to be able to like, oh, no, can I now bump this one down and put them over here? It's like, no, that's the commitment. That's real. That's what makes it exciting.
Agreed.
And yeah. Sandra, what do you feel about the build as you go model?
So I very much see the value in it. And I like the initial, like, because you don't have the pressure to try to fill out everything you could possibly want to do with this character in one shot. But I actually like it more after the session or the campaign has started, because I'm very much the person who's going to put the points into the things I did. So now I feel like I earned them, and if I want to put points into something specifically, I'm going to now pursue it also in a session if possible. So all of a sudden, I feel like, especially in a new character, there could be a bit of an almost dead space of like, well, what should I be doing with this character? And you don't quite know yet. And if you think about where those points are going to wind up or what you'd like to do with them, it gives you more direction until you know this character better. So I feel like there's a lot of real good pluses for this kind of like hold back the points, allocate them with intent as you go along. And I'm not seeing a lot of negatives, except if perhaps you get thrown into an encounter that's too difficult. So I would probably put the caveat that tell your players don't hold back more than X a number of points so that they don't wind up dying early. But that's probably the only mechanics thing I would probably add there is give direction of how much to hold back.
It requires a GM to make the session such that they're encountering the slow build up rather than just like a big cold open with a fight sequence in the beginning, right? So
yep.
So that's sort of implicit in the build as you go model. Other benefits I think include having new players easily get into the system. It makes the teach super simple.
Oh, totally.
It avoids having players have this thing like, I put some things into that. Well, I put things into that too, and let me change that out. And having this sort of like, this discussion about what thing, we had that last week. And you get to role playing. That's what everyone is there for.
I guess the only downside that I can see is maybe there's like if they aren't offered the opportunity to try absolutely everything within the first episode or first couple of episodes, right? They may. Well, they don't know when they're going to want to spend them, though. They could want to spend it on something way further down the line when you find out, I really want to get it into calligraphy, but I don't have any more points because it's like session 13.
Well,
right?
That's what leveling up is about, right? You get more points later.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're not following a model of like once you get those points, you could put them into these things, these 5 things, whatever. You can put them wherever you want. But go on, defend your argument.
No. That's about the end of it, though. It's just like if you have just like all these points stored up, and you're not sure when you want to spend them, you don't know when. Like, are you gonna know when you're gonna get the next set of points?
Sure. I suppose there is a different kind of analysis paralysis then too. If I have so many options, when do I want to spend these points? And then you end up spending none of them, perhaps. But okay, interesting.
Like, is it the same amount for everybody? Does everyone get the same amount of points, or is it intelligence based, or is it
right?
Like, are there modifiers also still added on to these?
Definitely things to consider before implementing this type of model, for sure. Yeah. So and maybe a game like D&D is not the best sort of.
But also, like, how specific are these categories? Is acrobatics is climbing and swimming? Are they're separate things? But then say like long jump, would that be its own category or?
Well, this is where you have character sheets to allow for that. If you're playing a game like Fate Core, the stats themselves are much more ambiguous, and the stats become something like the thing that you're modestly good at, the thing that you're great at, and things that you're like legendary at is simply a statement such as I have underworld ties or something like that. And then every time something comes up that might associate with your ability to have your experience with the underworld, then you just roll on that stat rather than another one. So I'm an Olympic athlete. Okay, well then that kind of catches a lot of things in there. So that's, it depends on what sort of template system you're using. And I think the character sheet allows for and gives that roadmap for like what type of game you're going to play there. I would like to add one more benefit to doing the pay as you go with regard to spells.
Pay as you go,
buy as you go, build as you go.
Okay. just to confirm, we're talking about the same thing here now.
Yeah. You're not talking like these like loot box kind of horrific video game systems. Yeah, buy the good skin and you've won the game. No. But like with wizards as well, a lot of players who are not playing the caster class won't know the abilities of the wizard, and that still will be the case with the buy as you go model. But what makes it exciting in the moment is it could be as if the magic user is kind of drawing the power out of the universe in that moment, rather than just having it the whole time. The magic becomes more magical in this sense, even though it could still be, your typical fire spell or whatever it is. But the moment it happens in game becomes a little bit more exciting rather than just saying, okay, here comes the fire spell that you're all expecting.
Yep.
Right? So there's
No, I agree.
here. All right. Moving on to our final topic. We've got a few minutes left here. Is pre-gens versus sort of like the kind of like let characters choose how they want to make them versus like a sort of just the old classic method roll, and that's what you
straight down the row.
Straight down the row, right? Where do you guys feel of these different styles?
Okay, let's start with pre-gens. How does everyone feel about pre-gens?
Love them. Problem with pre-gens is the barrier to entry for someone who doesn't know the game. Here's a character sheet. What could it do? What does it do? Again, gives more credence to the build as you go model. However, any veteran that's good to the system, you give them a selection of 5 or 6 characters. They choose the one that they like. There you go. You're playing within 5 minutes. Easy peasy. Great.
Sandra?
To me, it's session length. I love pre-gens to get into it, to get going, and get on with your day. 100%, even for new players. I think that the system makes enough sense for them to just pick up the stats they need and run with it. It simplifies the game, in my opinion, for new players. But I would put the caveat, as Jay kind of explained it. Here are 6 pre-gens. Which one do you like? I do not like it when somebody goes, "You are now the barbarian."
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like, if your mind works in a certain area of certain classes, let them play in those classes so that they're comfortable.
And then many pre-gens also have small little decisions you can make within that character concept, right? Again, Monster of the Week is a perfect example of that. Like Monster of the Week, in a way, all the characters are pre-gens in a sense. You kind of just start off and you just kind of tick boxes all on the way, and then by the end you've got your own character. Well done. Simple. Chris?
Pre-gens, I like them. Really good for short sessions, like you had mentioned. I'm very flexible with pre-gens. Often I'll say, like, forget about any of the details, like their names or their hair colors or whatever, right? Just strip all that away. You can name them whatever you want. You can make them look like whatever you want, except elephant
Cage.
people. Except elephant people, especially Nicolas Cage. You
Yeah,
can definitely do a Nicolas Cage. I'm even a little bit more flexible with weapons. Like when it says like axe does this much damage, I'll say whatever weapon you're going to use, right? It does that much damage regardless.
Yeah,
because you're just really good at that using with that weapon, right? So
Turkey leg does
it's a bit arbitrary already.
Yeah, right. So it's like it just does this much damage, and it doesn't matter if you're using a turkey leg or a pillow case full of doorknobs.
No, dude, 100%. Yeah, go back to one of our early episodes on skinning. Like, if you wanted to play a kind of a guy who has like kind of a magic tech shotgun that has different bullets, and then all those bullets are just the spells, magic missile, burning hands, whatever, then go for it, because it's still mechanically the same thing that's going on, and you're just skinning things the way you want to do it. Brilliant. This is how you make pre-gen characters really awesome.
So pre-gens, but just like do whatever you want with them, right? So I'm down. And even for long-term stuff, I'm still down. Like, I don't mind playing pre-gens because I'm gonna put my own spin on it later anyway. So
exactly. All right. How about the kind of the handcrafted ones with the characters who start off from they've got a character who's already multi-class, who's
we already know how I feel about this, so it's all about you guys. So go ahead.
Feats, Dewey.
I love feats. Oh my god. not the kinds that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Not the times that you put into your jammies.
Yeah, I do like those too, but not to the same degree.
Yeah. I think when you make these type of characters, a lot of kind of trust has to go into the player to make the character correctly. Because once you're getting under the hood and you're kind of like starting to tinker around, have they missed a rule? Have they given themselves too much? And now all of a sudden, that character on the other side of the table who didn't do that and just like took the like bog standard, fighter template, all of a sudden becomes less the star of the show than the guy who's sort of like in a way min-maxed for every environment. So I'm less inclined for that unless sort of everyone is doing it and is capable of doing it. So that's my position, I think.
I have a bit of a, I agree with everything you guys said, but also from the player perspective, I think that you should be creating these characters outside of the team. It gets messy sometimes. Like somebody will have a clear opinion about what they want to do, and they'll be like, I'm doing this, period. And that's fine, because sometimes I'll have a really strong opinion about what I want to do in a campaign, and I hope that the team supports me too. But there's a strange paralysis that happens when you're all kind of creating characters that are supposed to synergize in a weird way, and nobody gets what they want. And I don't know if that's just in groups I've been in, or if that's a common thing that a lot of the other people face. But I think you should come to, whether it's a one-off or it's a longer session, I think you should come to the table with something more of a defined idea of what you want to do, and not just be the person who fits in and, I'll just do whatever you guys don't want to do, which is so funny because I said that to this side campaign we're doing because I was too busy to create the character. And so I'm speaking from experience, but not for the same reasons. But yeah, never go into this without having some concept of what you personally want to explore. And I think that's key. It's not play the character you want to play, because what does that mean? It's what thing is really interesting you in this world right now? Like whether it's Cthulhu or it's like a fantasy or a sci-fi. Like what is the character you want to follow for the next 1 to 50 times you get together, and bring that little kernel of an idea to the table, and then figure out how it meshes. So bring something, and then figure it out later how it's going to work with everybody else.
Love it.
Last but not least, then the straight
down the road.
Roll down the road here. So I think this can work. Maybe best for a one-off.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, the old school D&D was if you didn't roll the right way, then you couldn't even play that character because you didn't.
You're the dumbest wizard on the planet.
Yeah, you couldn't play elf, which was like a class, right? I kind of like it, but it's risky, baby. I admit, but that's sort of the fun of it, I think. It's maybe a bit novel or a novelty, I suppose. But anyone who's not given it a shot once should give it a shot, because it can just be complete chaos. But that's as far as I go with that one. I don't default to it because of its novelty factor, but it's got a place.
I have strong opinions, so Chris, go. I'll bring up the rear on this one.
Hey, I love it and I hate it. I love it and I hate it. It can be so much fun to do it and then see like what kind of character you can come up with, but at the same time you can get some really lousy stuff. And often I won't choose the class first. I'll roll and then you choose the class, because you could end up with like the absolute worst any class, really, if you just don't roll properly. So, and because everyone's doing it, you don't know what sort of party you're going to get, and that's maybe part of the charm of the chaos. But one shot, short campaign or one shot, that's it. We're done.
Well, and what you're effectively doing by just kind of rolling down your stat block, and you're giving yourself a kind of the creativity through limitation.
Yes.
Rather than just starting with the character from nothing. Yep. The character emerges based on the randomness of the die roll, and now you've got a character. It's a great way to create, excuse me. It's a great way to create NPCs in that way. In a way, okay, who's this character going to be? Just roll down the block. Okay, he's that guy. Now, easy. Right?
the -3 strength, -3 dex.
Yeah,
-2 charisma.
23 strength, 1 and every other stat. It was a little, you know,
Or it could be
meatball.
-2, 0, -1, -2, 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Sandra, strong opinions in
So
the end.
Go.
yeah. So my I on the surface, I hate the idea of it. I hate the idea of it because like you're stuck. Like you were saying, like you both raised most of the problems I have with it. And
Hey,
most
we
of the
didn't convince
pluses.
you otherwise. Those are some good
No,
points. Yeah.
just wait, just wait.
God damn it.
So long term, I I'm a little bit worried that like if you rolled super bad, you are stuck, right? And you can kind of like have your love of the game falter in the wrong scenario. So to me, guardrails. There needs to be some guardrails if this is more than a one-off to ensure that everybody's still having fun. Because again, this is where mechanics can lock you into not enjoying the thing you're spending your time on. So with that said, as long as there's a fairness component, if things aren't working, you can do something about it. I love it. So I'm going to be strongly in the I love it camp because to me, it is writing yourself into a corner, which to me is what every great writer does. If you cannot figure out where your story is going or what you even want to write as your next project, you write yourself into a corner. You limit yourself as much as possible and you work yourself out of the damn box. And that kind of character point, just straight down the line thing, creates that right off the hop. So you will create incredible characters and scenarios if you let yourself and your party supports it and you don't just continuously have a bad time. So yeah, with a caveat, I think it's an incredibly good idea if you can trust your team and your GM.
When you said I love it, I was reminded of, is it RoboCop? I love it, or whatever.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1, yeah. So I think what a GM can do is to navigate through potential unfair role of a particular player is have a point buy system in the back of their mind, right? I'm not saying implement it, but let's say a character gets 72 points or something, and everyone makes their rolls. You take a look at all the characters, you add up those numbers, and you can kind of see an average. You can see what character is sort of like above the mean, below the mean, where it is. And then what you then do is you pass out some poker chips to the characters to even the odds, as it were. And I think this could be really fun. Let's say I play a character who has rolled, 18s across the board, and I'm just the powerhouse character. I've got a plus whatever on everything. But then I'm playing another character who's just rolled duds, ones and twos. I've got the lowest stats of any character I've ever made. I still think this could be really fun, right? Where if the DM is playing this Benny model, and then what you do is then now that character gets the most poker chips out of anybody because they've got the character that's not good at anything, and so this character is sort of like failing forward, Mr. Magoo style, right, or Inspector Gadget style in a weird way, right? But like they're still the heroes of the show, even though they're screwing up all the time, right? Because now what you've given these characters, and you make a rule up on the fly that any failed roll, or even reverse it, any critical miss becomes a critical hit for you, or anytime you fail a roll, you just turn in one of these coins to make it all of a sudden a success. And now you're just like you're the man who knew too little. You're the Inspector Gadget. You're the character that fails forward, who trips over the rake, setting off the Rube Goldberg device that then destroys the enemy. And you're like, whoops,
oh, that's fun.
Did I do that? And that is super fun. Yeah. It's Steve Urkel. Yeah. Steve!
Man, nobody knows what we're talking about right now.
No. Yeah, nobody below 40.
We grew up in the best time.
Yeah, and the worst of time. Yeah, a friend of mine made an auto-generated Charles Dickens quote generator as an app. He's just like a programmer with a lot of free time. And he wants to like jokingly monetize it by saying, "Oh, we get half the quote." So it's like, it's the best of times. Pay $2 to get the last of it. The rest of the quote. It was the blurst of times, whatever. God. Do we have anything else to add on this topic? And that's an episode, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess not.
I guess
We've
not.
said everything that there is to say.
Go off and
That's
create
right.
peoples.
Yeah, go out there and create peoples. Exactly. See you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. The 3RPG podcast is produced and performed by Sandra Rosner, Chris Takasaki, and Jay Underwood. Music and audio editing, mix and master done by Jay Underwood, and art by Chris Takasaki. If you'd like to be a guest on our show or have any questions, please email us at 3rpgpodcast@gmail.com. That's 3rpgpodcast, THREERPG podcast@gmail.com, or visit our Patreon if you wish to help to support us, or visit our website at www.3rpg.com. Thanks for listening.